Liberalism. Origins. Emerged during the Enlightenment in the 17th and 18th centuries, fueled by the works of philosophers like John Locke and his emphasis on natural rights and influential figures. John Locke, Adam Smith, and thinkers from the Scottish Enlightenment. Historical context. Developed in response to absolute monarchy and the idea of divine right, liberal ideas found expression in democratic revolutions such as the American Revolution and the French Revolution. Conservatism. Origins. Rooted in the reaction against the radical changes brought about by the French Revolution, Edmund Burke's reflections on preserving established institutions played a crucial role. Influential figures. Edmund Burke, Joseph de Maistre. Historical context. Conservatism sought to maintain social order, tradition, and stability in the face of revolutionary upheavals. Socialism. Origins. Emerged in response to the social inequalities and harsh conditions of the Industrial Revolution. Early socialist ideas were articulated by thinkers like Henry de Saint-Simon. Influential figures. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Historical context. The early socialist movements aimed to address the exploitation of labor and sought to establish a more equitable society through collective ownership of the means of production. Communism. Origins. Evolved from socialist ideas with the publication of the Communist Manifesto by Marx and Engels in 1848. Influential figures. Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels. Historical context. Communism called for the abolition of private property and class distinctions, envisioning a classless society where the state would wither away. Fascism. Origins. Emerged in the aftermath of World War I, particularly in Italy and Germany, as a response to political instability, economic turmoil, and perceived threats to national identity. Key figures. Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler. Historical context. Fascism is characterized by authoritarian rule, extreme nationalism, and suppression of dissent, seeking to establish a strong, centralized state. Anarchism. Origins. Emerged in the 19th century as a response to industrialization, state power, and hierarchical structures. Anarchist thought has roots in the works of Pierre-Joseph Proudhon and Mikhail Bakunin. Key figures. Mikhail Bakunin, Emma Goldman. Historical context. Anarchists advocate for the abolition of government and other hierarchical institutions, emphasizing voluntary cooperation and direct action. Libertarianism. Origins. Rooted in classical liberal ideas and the writings of philosophers like John Locke and economists like Friedrich Hayek. Key figures. Friedrich Hayek, Ayn Rand. Historical context. Libertarianism promotes minimal government intervention, individual liberties, and free market capitalism as a means of maximizing individual freedom and economic efficiency. Green politics. Origins. Emerged in the mid-20th century in response to environmental concerns and the recognition of the interconnectedness of ecological and social issues. Key moments. Rise of the environmental movement, Earth Day, and the formation of green political parties. Historical context. Green politics emphasizes sustainability, ecological responsibility, and social justice, advocating for policies that address environmental challenges. Feminism. Origins. Evolved through waves, starting with the first wave in the late 19th and early 20th centuries focusing on suffrage. Subsequent waves addressed broader issues like workplace discrimination and reproductive rights. Key figures. Suffragettes, Simone de Beauvoir, Betty Friedan. Historical context. Feminism seeks gender equality and challenges traditional gender roles, addressing issues related to patriarchy, sexism, and discrimination. Nationalism. Origins. Gained prominence in the 19th century as a response to the Napoleonic era and the emergence of independent nation-states. Historical context. Nationalism emphasizes the cultural, ethnic, or linguistic identity of a nation, contributing to the rise of independence movements and nation-building processes. Populism. Origins. Historically rooted in agrarian movements and anti-establishment sentiments. Key moments. Emergence of populist leaders challenging established political elites. Historical context. Populism often arises in response to perceived economic inequalities and dissatisfaction with established political institutions. Social democracy. Origins. Evolved from socialist ideas, emphasizing a gradual and democratic approach to achieving socialist goals. Historical context. Social democracy gained prominence in Europe during the 20th century, influencing policies that balance capitalism with social welfare programs. Authoritarianism. Origins. Historically associated with various forms of governance where power is concentrated in a central authority. Historical context. Authoritarian regimes have existed throughout history, often justified by the need for order and stability, though they can pose challenges to democratic principles. Totalitarianism. Origins. Emerged in the early 20th century, notably associated with regimes like Nazi Germany and Stalinist Soviet Union. Key characteristics: absolute state control, suppression of dissent, and often personality cults. Historical context: totalitarian regimes sought complete dominance over all aspects of society, impacting political, economic, and cultural spheres.